Our case, nakuha na namin yung initially yung bank documents, Mr. Chairman, nandoon na yung Sami Uy. Nung lumabas yon, hinahanap namin ano kaya itong pumapasok na pera na ito from government coffers or illegal mining activities, kung ano-ano. But eventually, nung si Las Cañas pumasok, and we got him around January of 2017 a few months before the appearance of Colonel Asierto. So by then, nakita na namin from the new paradigm itong mga information na to. Kaya nag-fit ho siya dun sa buong narrative.
So, Michael Yang and Alan Lim and sino po yung isa na
Si Charlie Tan, Sami Uy.
Charlton
Ayun po,
Sami Uy? Now, si Alan Lim naman, ang relations niya with Michael Yang, where did it start ba? Saan nagsimula yung connections nila?
Apparently, since hindi alam ni Las Cañas, si Alan Lim vaguely pumupunta lang daw a few times sa Davao. So kumuha kami ng other sources of information from the whether domestic law enforcers or foreign law enforcers. Itong si Alan Lim, apparently mas senior siya kay Michael Yang at that time. Parang junior itong si Michael Yang. Mas senior pa yung kanyang kapatid na si Tony Yang. May sila meron silang seniority dun sa kanilang triad. So Peter Lim is also a big player. So sa Visayas, itong si Peter Lim, si Alan Lim doon naman sa Luzon. That's the picture we got from the people we talked to. Tapos pero si Michael Yang naka-jackpot siya kasi yung connection niya with Duterte nag-pay off when he became president, kaya na-elevate siya, na fast track yung kanyang promotion do sa kanyang organization. Ganun po 'yan.
Now, if you're saying na Michael Yang was using his siguro closeness with the former president to further his drug interest, why would he be content with just being economic advisor? Why not ask for a different position which would give him siguro more access to whatever he's doing, di ba? But that's a question that most people would say. Di ba kung involved siya sa drugs, bakit economic advisor lang ginawa? Wala naman niyang benefit to his business.
Ito po yung benefit nun. Unang-una, he cannot be given a regular cabinet position because he is a Chinese national. No? So, yan yon. Yung economic advisor is just a title to project to the whole bureaucracy na malakas itong tao na ito. That's going to afford him the protection that he needs, no? Yung connection do sa network kasi binabout siya. And yung pinag-uusapan kung paano nag-pay off yung kanyang closeness, dun sa family issue, yun po, di ba, lumabas. Kahit nasa labas siya, ang dami niya nakuhang kontrata because of that connection. At hindi pa po na may mention dito yung kinita nila dun sa Sinovac, no? Dun sa Sinovac, based dun sa mga nakuha naming dokumento, ay po yan, na-overprice niya ng 2,000 pesos per vial at bumili sila ng 50 million vials. So that's 100 billion pesos, no? Yun po ang pinakamalaking racket nila na nakuha because of that connection and protection, Mr. Chairman.
Now, you also testified earlier na Sami Uy, no, was the one who introduced Michael Yang to the president. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. President.
Now, Sami Uy is known to be close to the president even when he was still mayor pa.
Yes.
But for not about I know that it wasn't about drugs na ang association niya with the Dutertes. Paano naging biglang all of a sudden naging drugs to na angle na kung isipin natin, it should have started way before. Kung yun man ang original intention ni Sami Uy, di ba? Kasi he was already close to the president when the president was still mayor of Davao eh.
Yes. And it did start way before. According dun sa interview ni Las Cañas, nag-start po silang tatlo mag-engage kay Duterte noong 2001. At major campaign contributor sila noong una. Tapos, ito na nga. Sabi ko nga, yung pag-profile kasi kay Las Cañas as an insider, as an inside man, it's either you will believe everything or you don't believe anything. Di ba? So, kaya nung una naming binevet ito si Las Cañas, we were validating everything. Kumbaga, ano bang motivation itong mamang ito? At I think if it's one skill set that we have is yun pong pagbe-vet, pagba-background check. So, nakikita po namin yung mga motivations. And sinabi po niya ako ho, without you take out Las Cañas, pag nakita mo yung cover ni Sami Uy, talagang maganda Maganda ho Kaso sinabi ni Las Cañas, and before that, nakuha po namin, Mr. Chairman, yung bank documents. Ando doon siya Bakit siya nagbibigay ng 40 to 50 million dun sa 5 members of the family every 6 months? Ano yun? Anong klaseng business po yan? Tapos marami pa pong eventually kung in an impeachment court, hypothetically, lalabas po yan. Kung kanino galing pumapasok po yan. At ang blunder po ni Duterte, ginawa ho niyang joint account sila ni Sara So, ano po ito? Lumabas po doon.
Pero you would agree with me, Senator, na there's nothing wrong naman in making political contributions to campaigns, di ba? I mean, a lot of businessmen do that, di ba? For as long as it is properly reported in your statements of contribution and expenditures, okay lang yan, di ba?
Okay lang po yan, Mr. Chairman, kung hindi mo alam. Kunyari ngayon, napag-uusapan na si Michael Yang as a drug lord. Would you accept a campaign contribution from Michael Yang? I don't think so. Siguro before, pag hindi mo pakilala, you'd be forgiven for that Alam niyo naman po, tayong mga politiko, pag may lumapit o gusto kong tumulong sa campaign mo, hindi naman tayo magche-check sa narco list o kung ano-ano. Di ba we take these gestures at face value na they just want to help us. So, ganun po yan.
Okay, now, pwede na, kasi ito di ba? Asierto first came out with Michael Yang after 2016 na
Yes.
Di ba? When Duterte was already president. Tama po ba?
Yes, Mr.
So,
Chairman.
I mean, if I was the president, I would still have accepted the donations prior to that. Kasi
Yes.
hindi pa lumulutang yung pangalan niya at that time, di ba?
Yes, Mr.
So
Chairman.
there was nothing wrong with it at
There's
that
nothing
time.
wrong. There's
no?
nothing wrong.
So as far as contributions are concerned, then probably there was a valid excuse for the president to accept it because at that time, supposedly, hindi pa lumalabas yung pangalan ni Michael Yang as someone who is linked to the drug trade. Tama po ba?
I totally agree, Mr. Chairman. Kaya ko lang naman nilabas yung SOSE because dito lumabas yung pangalan na talagang close sila. So, at that particular moment, and I agree with you, Mr. Chairman, walang problema pa. But in hindsight, may problema na. Ibig sabihin nun, yung sinasabi nilang narco politician, yun na. Because Duterte knew about Sami Uy's involvement in illegal drugs and siyang pumopondo. Yon kinorroborate yun ni Mr. Las Cañas noong 2001, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, now, would it also be possible, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, Senator, forgive me.
Yes.
Would it also be possible na, let's say, people close to the president vetted him and said he's okay? Meaning, the president did not have to go further from what the people surrounding him were saying. Example, like, cleared yan, okay yan, hindi yan associated with drugs. Pwede din po ba na he would rely on the word of those who are closest to him na hindi yan involved in drugs?
Yun na nga po, no? assuming the best of Duterte, probably that would be the case. Pero we have profiled the guy, and in assuming the worst of him, minsan ini-exceed pa niya, no? Pero ito po, yung kay sino to, kay Sammy Uy and kay Michael Yang, in-inform na ni Colonel Asierto. Kumbaga, out of sense of duty, no? Sabihin na nating naive si Colonel Asierto because he believed yung narrative. Namigay talaga siya ng report hoping to precisely yung sinasabi niyo, Mr. Chairman, na ma-clear siya, yung baka hindi alam nung nagki-clear sa kanya na okay yan. Kaso baliktad yung reaction niya eh. Kung totoong he had nothing to do with Mr. Yang, ang gagawin niya nung nakita niya yon, first thing toxic yan, ilayo niyo yan sa akin. Or, kung talagang pinapapatay niya yung mga drug lords, dapat napatay na po yun. Yun po, Mr. Chairman.
Now, earlier din, when AMLAC was here, AMLAC said that the documents did not come from them.
Yes.
Yung pinresent mong bank documents. But in earlier public pronouncements that were also made or also linked to you, you also said that it was AMLAC who gave you access to these documents.
No, wala po akong sinabing gano'n, Mr. Chairman, kasi that would be illegal. No? That would be illegal. So, ang sinabi ko po, merong nagbigay sa akin ng mga dokumento na yon at chinek po namin in our own ways. So when we validated it, ginamit namin. I used it as evidence to file a plunder case against Duterte. At yung investigation na yon ng Ombudsman, validated yung documents. Kaya po nung sinabi ko kanina, yung open source, sabi po ng Ombudsman, yun pong nakuha nila na dokumento sa AMLAC matches the contents of my document.
Is this si Karandang ba yun?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Opo.
And he was removed, is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
But then he was removed for other reasons din, Senator Trillanes, di ba?
Hindi po. Kasi the primary reason is iniimbestigahan niya si Duterte and they were gaining some headway dun sa investigation niyon, and Duterte needed to stop him from investigating, Mr. Chairman.
Did we invite former Deputy Ombudsman Karandang? She's here? Hindi. But he was invited. Anyway, thank you, Senator Trillanes. DG Villanueva, I'll give you an opportunity because your name was mentioned earlier by the senator, di ba? Na you were supposedly, you had a big role actually in parang suppressing the information from coming out, especially linking Michael Yang and other personalities po. What is your comment to that, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for giving me the opportunity. Hearing what Mr. Las Cañas and Mr. Trillanes narratives, seemingly they were lousy storytellers. Una-una, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I take exception dun sa sinasabi nito ni Mr. Villanueva kasi early on I was checked by the chairman for taunting, pero
Okay.
I submit.
May we remind all the resource persons to refrain from
I'm
saying
sorry, Mr. Chair.
offending words. Thank you so
Sorry,
much,
Mr.
everybody.
Unang-una kasi, Mr. Chair, sabi ni yung mga previous statement ni Colonel Asierto, lumabas yung pangalan ni Michael Yang, according to his informant, noong 2016. Samantalang yung statement ni Las Cañas kanina, nung pinapanood ko, seemingly, agad alam niya si Michael Yang nung sa Dumoy. Dumoy pa lang, alam na niya na may Michael Yang. Now, Mr. Chair, for 3 months of our surveillance operation, isang team lang ang kay Colonel Asierto doon, lahat ng team sa PDEA 11. Walang anino sila Cañas doon. And definitely, we have not involved anybody outside of HTOT, the team of Colonel Asierto, and my team, because this was a delicate anti-drug operation. So definitely, paano malalaman nila sa Cañas na may Michael Yang, hindi nga niya alam na may anti-drug operation sa clandestine laboratory. Pangalawa, sir, sabi ni Mr. Trillanes, the clandestine laboratory was operating under my nose. Ibig sabihin, nagmamanufacture na ang mga incheck ng shabu na hindi ko nalalaman. Maling-mali yun, Mr. Chair. For 3 months, nag-start sila ng actual manufacture December 26. Dahil tuwing gabi, Mr. Chair, nasisilip namin yung ginagawa nila. So, noong December 29, naglalatag na, nagpapatuyo na sila ng shabu eh. That is, noong December 28. That is why on December 29, nag-apply na kami ng search warrant.
Okay, let me cut you off there, General. Sandali lang. You said the surveillance nyo sila for 3 months.
Yes,
Tama ba?
Mr. Chair.
So bakit nyo surveillance for 3 months na 26 pa sila of December nag-start production?
Mr. Chair, for 3 months, nagse-set up eh. Bumibili ng mga material, ng mga equipment, isa-set up ang equipment. Nung nakumpleto na lahat ang equipment and chemicals na ipasok na lahat sa Dumoy Laboratory, December 26, they start manufacturing.
Kaya nga sir, December 31 yung raid, di ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So 3 months before that, it would be December, November, October.
It started October 26, Mr. Chair.
October, nag-start na kayo ng surveillance.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Anong isa-surveil nyo kung hindi pa sila nag-produce ng drugs at that time?
Again, Mr. Chair, nag-start kami ng surveillance December 26 dahil binigyan kami ng
No, you
information.
said 3 months before.
October 26,
Yes, sir.
dahil binigyan kami ng information ng USDEA na may paparating na Chinese chemist sa Davao City. Yun lang ang information, Mr. Chair. From the airport, nasundan namin hanggang dumating sila sa Arlene apartment. And from there, doon na kami nag-start ng follow kung saan pupunta itong mga to hanggang sa natumbok namin ang Dumoy Clandestine Laboratory.
Okay, so the surveillance started because of an information given that a chemist was going to Davao.
Yes, Mr.
Not
Chair.
because they were already producing drugs at that time.
No, Mr.
Not
Chair.
because the laboratory was already set up at that time.
Yes, Mr.
But only because of the raw information that a chemist was there supposedly
Exactly,
to
Mr.
start a laboratory.
Yes, Mr.
That's
Chair.
why 3 months. Kasi minamatch ko lang eh, di ba? Sa akin kasi, if you look at it, no, parang I hope you forgive me,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
3 months before, anong i-surveillance mo kung wala pa nga yung laboratory? And anong i-surveillance mo kung hindi pa nga sila nagpuproduce ng droga na sinasabi natin?
Yes.
Diba? That's what led to the raid nga eh, di ba? The production of these drugs.
Yes,
So,
Mr. Chair.
Okay,
So,
continue.
dun sa 3 months na yun, sir, nakaka-follow kami dun sa Atdaw na warehouse at dun sa Bunawan na kung saan naandun yung naandun yung air scrubber na malaki, Mr. Chair. They just started manufacturing December 26. So on the 3rd day, nag-apply na kami ng search warrant dahil nagpapatuyo na sila ng shabu. So we applied December 29. We implemented December 31. That is 5 days, Mr. Chair. So, maling-mali yung sabi ni Mr. Trillanes, no, they are already manufacturing under my nose. They are setting up the laboratory na ando na po kami.
Okay, so sige.
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Trillanes, just let me finish my questioning with DG Villanueva. So sir, klaruhin natin, categorical lang na questions and then a short answer also. So hindi totoo na siguro kinover up mo ang some information to protect some of the personalities mentioned by Senator Trillanes.
Like, ano
It's
po?
not true na you protected or siguro kept information that would link Michael Yang.
Wala pong Michael Yang sa laboratory, Mr. Chair.
You did not keep information that would keep information about Sami Uy being involved in drugs.
Hindi ko kilala yon, Mr. Chair.
Hindi mo kilala si Sami
Hindi
Uy?
ko kilala si Sami Uy.
In Davao?
Yes, sir.
Oh, he's pretty popular in Davao,
Sa drugs ako
Nasa
nakatutok,
drugs.
Mr.
Oh,
Chair.
tama. Okay, but as a
Hindi ko
businessman,
kilala,
hindi mo
Mr.
kilala
Chair.
Sami Uy. Okay. Hindi mo kinontrol yung information as far as sino pa yung Charlie Tan is concerned.
Nababalitaan ko si Charlie Tan na siya yung may-ari ng ET.
KTV, yeah.
Yun lang, Mr. Chair.
But nothing that relates to the drugs.
Nothing.
Okay. So, again, Senator Trillanes, go ahead, sir.
Well, unang-una, yung nire-refer natin, Mr. Chairman, about all of these things operating under his nose, yung Green Heights Subdivision. Tapos yung sinasabi ni Las Cañas, wala naman siyang sinabing part siya nung team nila. No? If only nakikinig siya doon sa interview, sinasabi niya, nandito siya sa side nila Duterte, dito siya, close in siya dito, nakita niya yung laro at galaw nila Sami Uy, Charlie Tan at Michael Yang. Dito siya sa part na to, tapos binigyan siya ng mission doon sa after nung raid to turn na sila ang magre-receive nung 11 galing sa tropa niya. So that was his first encounter with this guy. Kumaga, to clean up yung to cover up yung ano na nga yun, yung mess na yon kasi umabot na aabot kay Michael Yang. So doon siya, wala siya doon sa operating unit kasi part niya siya nung sindikato, Double Death Squad ni Mr. Duterte. And ito yan, Mr. Chairman. This guy, ang tagal niya sa Davao, PIDEA, eventually naging Director General siya ng PIDEA. Tanungin siya kung sino yung mga drug lord nung mga malalaking shipment. I doubt kung sasabihin niya kung sino. Ito lang yung sa mga pulis, yung 990 kilos na shabu. Tanungin siya kung sino ang mastermind nun. Wala ka makukuha ang sagot. It's either incompetence or kasabwat. And because of the testimony of Las Cañas, kasabwat, Mr. Chairman. Ganun lang po yun.
Thank you, Senator Trillanes. Now, you also mentioned, Senator Trillanes, in your testimony, you mentioned Councilor Mola Villera kanina no, na siya yung sabi mong bagman.
Yes.
An issue that I have with this is, parang walang links naman bigla na lang sinasabi na just because there are photos of them together, then ma-assume ba na, come to a conclusion that he is involved.
Yan po, yung conclusion po na yan, Mr. Chairman, was born out of the investigation po dun sa Senado. That ito pong si Mr. Mark Taguba and other brokers, kailangan magbigay ng enrollment fee kay Pulong at Manscarpio para maging accredited brokers sila nung pagpasok nila ng mga kontrabado, Mr. Chairman. At ang middleman na nagre-represent kay Mr. Pulong Duterte is si Mr. Small Abiliera. So lahat po itong mga information na to, yung pera na binibigay sa kanya lahat, galing po yan dun sa investigation po namin sa Senado, Mr. Chairman.
Before I ask Councilor Abiliera, but isn't it also a fact that the witness that you're referring to, Mark Taguba, also recanted the testimony that he gave? Hindi ba siya nag-recant?
Wala pong recantation.
Walang recantation?
Opo.
So he's sticking to the allegations that he made of the involvement of some of the members of the presidential family in the previous administration?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. As represented by Mr. Small Abiliera.
Okay. Mr. Chair, if I could just ask a few questions to Small Abiliera, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Small Abiliera, sir. Question lang, diretso na po ang tanong at saka I hope you give me a straight answer din, no? Kasi kanina nabanggit ni Senator Trillanes that you were acting as a bagman. Is that true or not?
It is not.
So you categorically deny that you are acting for and behalf of somebody else as a bagman. Tama po?
Mr. President, binanggit lang naman niya ako dahil close kami at that time ni Pulong Duterte. Totoo naman yun, inamin ko yun, alam niya sa Senate, nagkaharap kami sa Senate niyan. sinabi ko na yun, sinigot ko na yun siya niyan. Kaya nga hanggang ngayon, wala silang mano sa akin eh.
So you were saying that it's at that time, no? Close kayo at that time. Ngayon, hindi na kayo close.
Mr. President, it is a known fact in Davao na kalaban ako ni Congressman Pulong Duterte.
And would you care to explain bakit kalaban ka na ngayon na dati close kayo?
Actually, hindi ko rin alam, Mr. President, kung bakit eh. Pareho lang din yan. Hindi ko alam kung bakit ako ginadamay ni former Senator Trillanes, in which hindi ko naman dininay sa kanya, sa Senate, na nagkita nga kami ni Mark Taguba. Pero ginasabi ko na wala akong involvement din dahil nahindihan siya, alam niya yan eh. Alam niya nung nagkita kami, na sinabi ko na nagkita kami nung Jack, a certain Jack, na hindi ko siya pakilala, nung pinakilala sa akin yan, alam nila na hinindihan ko na sila eh. Kaya hanggang ngayon, wala silang nadikit sa akin.
So, pero ito yung allegations na close kayo and you're acting as the front of members of the former administration's family, di ba? And you're categorically denying it. And now you're also saying na ngayon hindi na kayo close kasi all of a sudden you just stop being friends, but you also don't know the reason why. Tama po ba?
Hindi ko alam, Mr. President. Kaya hindi ko, sinasabi ko nga ulit-ulitin ko man, even sa nung nag-aaral pa si Congressman Pulong at saka ako, nag-aabot kami sa school, magkaibigan na kami. Nagkataon lang siguro na pareho kami politiko at siyempre, natural lang. Nung vice mayor ko siya, konsehal niya ako. Kaya, actually, Mr. President, kung pagbigyan niyo lang, lahat ng pictures na gina-present dyan ni ni Senator Trillanes, is mga affairs yun sa city. It's either piyesta sa city, Kadayawan, Araw ng Davao, natural lang yun, kaibigan kami.
So,
Vice mayor ko siya, konsehal ako.
ang sinasabi mo, you appear in those pictures because of your position as councilor and the position of Congressman Pulong Duterte as vice mayor at that time.
And as a former close friend of
And as a former close friend. Okay, I just tried to give you the chance to explain also because your name was mentioned kanina ni Senator Trillanes.
Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, so Senator Trillanes, of course, is a categorical denial on the part of Small that he acted as such, for Congressman Pulong, di ba? And other than insinuations kasi or allegations from Art Las Cañas, do you have anything that would show remotely man lang that he actually acted as such? Si Small Abellera?
Hindi po galing kay Mr. Las Cañas.
Kanino
Mr.
po
Chairman.
nanggaling, sir?
It was again born out of the Senate investigation during which time si Mr. Mark Taguba mentioned or narrated yung events na yon na nagbigay siya ng pera. Hindi ko naman kilala personally si Mr. Small Abellero. His name was mentioned during the narration of events by Mr. Mark Taguba. So again, it's about weighing or profiling kung sino ba sa kanila ang nagsasabi ng totoo based on motivations. Ito lang, Mr. Chairman, kasi ini-include ko tong si Mr. Abellera dun sa drug smuggling case nila Pulong. Ito yung facts. Meron pong 6.4 billion pesos sa bull shipment na pumasok. Okay, pumasok, pero wala hong drug lord. Ang nakonvict ay yung broker at yung isang middleman, yung Kenneth Dong, who have both of whom do not have the capacity to import these things. Then you have information from other sources that it's Manscarpio and Pulong Duterte na kumokontrol nung importations at that time sa Bureau of Customs. Tapos ito pang naging testimony ni Mr. Mark Taguba. Kumbaga, hindi ko po ito, Mr. Chairman, ginawa lang sa aking katang-isip. Kung hindi, ito ang resulta po ng investigation, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Senator Trillanes. Now, Mr. Small Abilera, you testified earlier that you also know Mark Taguba, correct?
No, Mr.
You
President.
met him, sorry.
I met him when he went to Davao because he wanted to be introduced to former Vice Mayor Pulong Duterte.
Because you only wanted to be introduced.
Yes,
Because-
to a certain Jack, Mr. President. He was with Jack, which I knew before Mark Taguba.
Okay, not because you had any business with customs.
We were friends at that time, Mr. President. It is a known fact also in Davao.
Just answer my question, Small, Mr. Chair. Ang tinatanong ko lang is, ang pagkakilala mo or when he was introduced, Mark Taguba was introduced to you, it's not because you had any business with the customs. Wala naman.
Wala, Mr.
It's
President.
not because you were importing anything through the customs. Wala naman.
None, Mr.
So
President.
there was no need for you to know Mr. Mark Taguba who was then acting as a broker. Tama po ba?
At that time, Mr. President, hindi ko siya kilala broker. Hindi ko, wala. Yung Jack, Mr. President, ang kasama niya, which yun ang nakilala ko before him.
So all the circumstances about you meeting with Mark Taguba had nothing to do with him being a broker with the customs. Wala.
None, Mr. President. I don't know him. I'm not involved dun sa mga pagtransaksyon sa and that's why, kaya siguro ako naimbitahan dito dahil pati yung katabi niya, Mr. President, ginadamay ako.
Okay, so, wala tuloy ako. Anyway, ang purpose niya is magpapa-introduce sa Vice Mayor.
Yes,
So,
at that time.
hindi nasali sa usapan ang trabaho niya as broker, hindi nasali sa usapan ang capacity niya to import things.
He just want to be introduced to the Vice Mayor then.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Abilera. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so we'll be recognizing the next interpellator. But before we proceed, the chair would like to present something kasi meron pong lumabas sa media about dun sa Quad Media. Siguro ilabas lang muna natin para at least we'll be inviting this person. Kasi po ay sinasabi dito that itong si certain Richard Lim, the Pogo Lord, siya po yung Pogo King, the Pogo King Quadcom won't touch. Siguro pakita lang muna natin to sa ayan. So lumabas po sa Quad Media na bakit daw hindi natin iniimbitahan tong taong to samantalang ito daw po yung King of Pogo. Mr. Chairman, hindi ko kilala tong taong to. I don't know sa ating pong mga kasamahan, but I think because of this, we will be inviting over this certain Richard Lim na siguro alam to ng PAOK, no? But I think we have an address in here. So this certain Richard Lim must be invited in the next Quadcom hearing. So yun lang ang gusto kong iparating sa members of this Quadcom hearing. So the next interpellator will be Kong Suwan. You are the next to interpellate. So Kong Suwan, you are now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I have a few questions for former Senator Trillanes. And this is to piggyback on some things that Congressman John Flores said earlier. So, Senator, you mentioned a certain Sami Uy from Davao. How do you know him?
I don't know him personally, Mr. Chairman. I only got to receive information about him through Mr. Las Cañas and other open sources, Mr. Chairman.
So you don't know him personally, only from Mr. Las Cañas.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Because I've also heard about him, and he's supposed to be the brother-in-law of someone from Cagayan de Oro City, if it's the same person. And you also mentioned earlier that he's part of this triumvirate of drug lords, including Charlie Tan and Michael Yang.
Yes,
And-
Mr. Chairman.
And then you said that there is this new paradigm that you kept mentioning. Would you care to explain this new paradigm in relation to this triumvirate?
No, only in relation to Mr. Sami Uy, Mr. Chairman, because
Okay.
when we got the bank documents or the documents which contain the bank accounts and bank transactions, we already flagged the name Sami Uy because he was giving managers checks to members of the Duterte family. But back then, we were working on the assumption that Duterte was not involved in illegal drugs back in 2016. So we were looking for other possible sources of these funds. So we
Excuse me, sir.
yes, Mr. Chairman.
These funds which you saw supposedly from the bank accounts of the former president.
Yes, Mr.
So back in 2016, you already had information that there were amounts of money that were being deposited in the former president's accounts?
Yes, when I got those documents during the latter part of the campaign in 2016, and when we analyzed it and we studied it, so the name of Mr. Sami Uy kept on coming out. So, but because of that paradigm before that Duterte is really against illegal drugs, we never assumed that the monies are coming from illegal drugs. However, when Mr. Las Cañas wrote
So
his
before
affidavit-
Mr. Las Cañas appeared and
Yeah.
made those damaging allegations,
Yes.
you thought that they were just campaign funds?
No, Mr. Chairman, because the dates do not match campaign periods. Every 6 months from 2011 to 2013, and the other members of the family. So it won't match because even the non-candidates were receiving money as well, Mr. Chairman. But we were looking for possible sources of these funds. So we were assuming probably illegal gambling, illegal mining, and other illegal sources because no business can possibly justify that large amount of money as dividend every 6 months, Mr. Chairman.
But I think he was a known businessman in Davao at the time.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. But the amounts, based on our research, none of his declared businesses could possibly yield that large amount of money during those periods, Mr. Chairman.
Do you have any idea what his businesses were?
Meron po kami nakitang declared ito na partner sila ni Duterte, isang Honda dealership, I think in Jensan. Then there is this yung cockpit arena. Tapos meron din daw Masyaw or some illegal gambling thing. So part
So
of
you're saying that these businesses are not enough to generate more than 130 million in a span of 3 years,
yes,
which were supposedly given to the family of the former president.
in a span of 2 years, Mr.
2 years.
Chairman. Yes. And then that was only the transactions, those were only the transactions with money, with paper trail using the manager's checks. But then the deposits or the credits continued thereafter. The same pattern, every 6 months, certain monies were coming in the accounts of Mr. Duterte and Sara Duterte. So, the pattern was established. So, we were inclined to believe that the money that came after the checks were still from Mr. Sami Uy.
Okay. Mr. Chair, meron po bang taga-AMLAC dito? Is anyone from AMLAC still here?
Your Honor, I think they have already left. Earlier they were here.
Because I think, just like what Congressman John said earlier, that it would be imperative to actually verify these allegations from former Senator Trillanes regarding the bank accounts, sir.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. And there are two ways at least that we can think of. Initially, yung waiver po, yun ang pinakamabilis. Since 2016, I've been challenging Duterte about it, pero he's been squirming and every time, tapos pag nako-corner, he will divert the issue, he will create a scene. So that's, kumaga, we can rule that out. Ano? Hindi pipirma ng waiver po ito. Then the other way na napasok po sa exemption sa Bank Secrecy Act is yung impeachment. So sa impeachment po, lalabas po ito. At makikita po natin yung laman loob nitong mga bank accounts po na ito.
Okay. You'll forgive me if I am skeptical because, especially since we don't actually have the documents to base our or your allegations on. So-
I understand, Mr. Chairman.
Also, are there, based on your information that you gathered from your sources, are there other people supposedly still, are there other people receiving money from Mr. Sami Uy outside of the family of the former president, if that is the case?
Wala po kaming nakuhang information about that, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, I think we also need to check with the SEC or the DTI or the BIR regarding the businesses of Mr. Sami Uy, so that we can verify the allegations of former Senator Trillanes.
Mr. Chairman, we might as well include the properties of Mr. Sami Uy. At we also got information that siya rin yung mga nagtatago ng mga ibang properties ni Mr. Duterte.
Yes, we will leave that to the COMSEC and the chairman to decide. And so, former Senator, I think it was you who showed the video regarding Senator Bato saying that Peter Lim is one of the biggest drug lords here in the country. Was it you who showed it earlier?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Who is Peter Lim?
Well, the first time I heard his name was when he was being identified as one of the drug lords linked to Mr. Kerwin Espinosa. And during those hearings, I asked Mr. Bato de la Rosa, who is the biggest drug lord? Because as the PNP chief, who is the primary implementer of the war on drugs of the president, he should know the enemies that he's after. So ang sinabi po niya clearly si Peter Lim, Mr. Chairman.
Peter Lim. Would PIDEA have details about this personality, this Peter Lim?
We will check, Mr. Chair. We will check on our records.
Okay, thank you, sir. This is another question for the PIDEA. Has he ever been a subject of any report or investigation on your agency, from your agency?
The same, sir, we will check with our records.
From the top of your mind, you don't know if he was ever in your radar or was he ever investigated?
We still don't know about his participation, but we will dig with our records with the Region 7, Mr. Chair, because it was mentioned there that he's from Cebu City, Peter Lim.
So you don't currently have anything to share right now about Mr. Peter Lim?
None, Mr. Chair.
Okay. May I know if there is any reason why he has never been a subject of investigation from the PIDEA, considering that Senator Bato himself, when he was the chief PNP, said that this is the biggest drug lord in the country.
I will not say that there is no report, sir, but we will check on our records. Because that was, I think, 2016 or
Okay.
2017.
I understand. Do you know anything about his visit to Pidea Region 11 in Davao City when he met with former President Duterte during that time? Do you know anything about that meeting?
We are looking who is the Region 11 regional director at that time, Mr. Chair. That was also 2016 or 2017.
I think
We are
that
checking
was
with our records who is that regional director. You said that the Director Albani, which is not now in PIDEA.
So, but you can confirm that this meeting happened in July of 2016.
Not yet, Mr. Chair. We are still investigating on that.
Okay. May I ask the NBI? Sir, was there ever any case regarding Peter Lim in 2018 related to drug trading and conspiracy?
Mr. Chair, Your Honors, I remember we subjected Mr. Peter Lim this humble representation, Attorney Galicia and another agent, Agent Otik, sometime in 2017, 18, thereabouts.
Okay.
And we finished, and when he came out of the NBI, we were met by media representatives. He was not supposed to be exposed to the media, but I was the spokesperson of the NBI at the time. I could not avoid the media because there was only one lobby at the old NBI in Taft Avenue, and I just have to make do. And I remember I got a dressing down for exposing him to media.
Dressing down from whom?
I remember there was a call the following day from Malacanang. I do not have the number. I could not get the details of the caller. It says just call on my phone. Why do I have to do that? It was totally unnecessary.
How do you know that it was someone from Malacanang?
I remember it was from the Presidential Communications Office. And but before I went down to the lobby of the NBI, I sought clearance from my director, Director Dante Giran. If I have to answer the media, he said, go ahead.
So you were given the clearance, and then it could not be avoided that Peter Lim had to go through the lobby, and he was exposed to the media, and then someone from Malacanang called you, and you had a dressing down
The following day.
the following day.
The call came the following day. Peter Lim was to go out of the NBI in the afternoon after our interview at the conference room of the old NBI at Taft Avenue. We have to go down, and the lobby then was the old Taft Avenue. That's where the media gathered. I could not avoid exposing him to the media. I remember I only answered very few of the media questions. I said, you better ask him. There was a newspaper grab at that time, Mr. Chair, Your Honors, showing me and Mr. Peter Lim and the other NBI agents that escorted us out of the NBI lobby.
What happened to Mr. Peter Lim during that day? Was he released?
Yes, Your Honors, Mr. Chair, because he was not under arrest. He was not also under custody. He was turned over, or we fetched him, I remember, to the NBI for questioning. And Attorney Galicia here was with me in that panel at the conference room. If I may ask the
But let's
chair.
go back to that call from Malacanang. Why would someone from Malacanang call you and give you a dressing down for exposing Peter Lim when he's supposed to be a drug lord?
I can only surmise, Mr. Chair, that my handling of exposing him was not appropriate at that time, considering that we have not filed a case or we have not completed the investigation. But again, I will honestly tell this commission that there was no way for me to avoid the media crowd gathered at the lobby of the NBI.
What could have been the reason why, in your opinion, someone would call you from Malacanang and berate you for the way that you handled it?
Mr. Chair, Your Honors, that may have displeased them. Or to their displeasure. Again,
Why would it displease someone from Malacanang?
I do not want to speculate until this time. It still bothers me, but I just have to do my job, and I have to yield to them, Mr. Chair, Your Honors.
Was that the last time that we heard of Mr. Peter Lim?
That was the last time, Mr. Chair, Your Honors, that I saw him at the NBI grounds.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. No more questions.
Okay,
Mr. Chair,
thank you, Congressman Suwan. Yes, Congresswoman Jinky Luistro.
I wish to direct this question to Senator Trillanes. Senator, of course, it is very much apparent that the former president has this animosity against you. And he's very vocal about that, even during interviews. Can you please enlighten us? Saan ho ba nagmumula itong, or nag-umpisa, itong animosity na ito?
Palagay ko po, dahil sa Davao ho, hindi sanay sila ng walang tumitindig sa kanya, no? So that's one. And another is, alam niya na na-decode ko na siya. So kumbaga yung all the charade, nababasa ko na po, Mr. Chairman.
So would you say that this animosity has something to do with the Senate investigation that you initiated and conducted?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. And even before that, when I openly opposed him during the campaign of 2016, Mr. Chairman.
Which happened first? The campaign or the Senate investigation?
The campaign started first,
I
Mr.
see.
Chairman.
So the first rivalry, should I say, or opposition happened because of the campaign?
Yes.
And then it was followed sometime thereafter by the Senate investigation on their possible involvement on dangerous drugs. Tama po ba?
Nung una po, yung Senate investigations, it's about the extrajudicial killings. Itong mga, ano po, yung involvement nila sa illegal drugs came after bumaliktad po si Mr. Las Cañas at nalaman namin yung inside story.
Please enlighten us, Senator. Anong taon po yung nagkalaban po ba kayo sa election?
Hindi po. I was supporting a different presidential candidate
I see.
in 2016.
So that was 2016.
Yes.
How about your investigation on EJK? Anong taon po ito?
2016, around July or August, Mr. Chairman.
So it's also 2016,
Yes.
month of August. And then you said it was followed by the revelation coming from Colonel Las Cañas. Kailan po nangyari itong kay Colonel Las Cañas, which prompted you to conduct an investigation on dangerous drugs?
Yes, around February. Oh, no. Initially, ma'am, when he turned as a witness, he was just only revealing information about his involvement in extrajudicial killings. And that period was a very short period because immediately the DOJ fast-tracked cases against him. So we needed to get him out of the country at that time. So then we only got to find out about all this involvement in illegal drugs by Duterte himself when he started giving the information as an insider, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, I understand that you are associated with the former Senator De Lima. What is your appreciation about the seeming similar animosity of the former president against Senator De Lima?
It's the same, Mr. Chairman, because Senator De Lima, when she was still the chairman of the Commission on Human Rights, investigated Duterte for the EJ case in Davao. And according to the testimony of Mr. Matobato and eventually Mr. Las Cañas, Mr. Duterte was really bothered by that investigation. He really feared that he would be made to account for all the killings he did in Davao. So eventually, when the opportunity came, when he was president, he wanted to make a sample out of Senator De Lima so that it would create a chilling effect among the senators, and it was very effective. He totally fabricated the cases against Senator De Lima, and most of my colleagues in the Senate then feared that whatever is happening to Senator De Lima at the time could happen to them if they don't follow his lead or be an obstacle to his designs.
Senator Trillanes,
Apo.
with all due respect, but I share the observation of the Honorable Flores with respect to establishing the veracity of the evidence, should I say, that you shared before the Quad Committee. Nonetheless, Mr. Senator, I acknowledge the efforts of having consolidated all those, and at the very least, I maintain that at least it could establish the fact that you consolidated, you were able to read, you were able to take possession of all these documents that you presented before the Quad Committee. But to conclude, Mr. Senator,
Yes.
considering the amount and the evidence that you have presented to us, how certain are you that the Duterte family, particularly the former president, Polong, Congressman Polong, and the husband of the vice president are indeed involved in dangerous drugs?
I'm 100% sure, Mr. Chairman. These were corroborated by other sources of information. And during our research, we were able to establish the background or the involvement of Mr. Polong Duterte in smuggling cases independent of the testimony or information coming from Mr. Las Cañas. This is from the NBI and the Presidential Anti-Smuggling Group. And Mr. Las Cañas, again, as a witness, he was already, he went through the very rigorous process of being accepted as an ICC witness. He went through this weeks-long process of vetting and validation, and he checked out as the primary witness of the prosecution against Mr. Duterte. So if these professional investigators and lawyers were able to check him out, then I would have to follow suit. So we would have our own ways of weighing testimonies or the truthfulness of witnesses before us, and I would have to say that he's way up there as a credible witness. But that's just coming from me. Now, the whole presentation I made is not to pin Mr. Duterte for these specific crimes, because I'm determined to pin him down through the ICC. And that's all I need. It's enough to put him away for life. But what I presented is to shatter that false narrative that he peddled to the Filipino people. Nagalit talaga siya sa illegal na droga. So if you'd be able to research on this Minister of Defense in Mexico, who, like Duterte, galit na galit din sa illegal na droga, pumapatay din siya ng mga drug lords, pushers, only to be found out later that he was actually on the payroll of a preferred cartel. So the pattern is the same. Now, as for other witnesses, some of the lawyers here, members of the committee, kept on saying, what are the other evidence? What are the other evidence? So let us remember that the Duterte drug syndicate operated like a mafia. And similar to how mafias were destroyed, at least some of them in the US, isang whistleblower ang kanilang naging lead that took them to different pieces of evidence and witnesses. So yun po ang nakita kong value po kay Mr. Las Cañas.
Senator, one of the documents which you presented, should I say, or the information you shared, is about the huge amount of money received by the Duterte family,
Yes.
which, as alleged, came from drug money. Do you confirm this?
That is my conclusion, Mr. Chairman, because again, the way these syndicates operate, wala naman pong mga resibo ito, wala naman mga CCTV na makikita tayo. Ito po, circumstantial. Lahat po, because I cannot explain kung saan po nanggagaling itong pera na ito na pumapasok po periodically. Yun po, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, do you have any pending case against the Dutertes pertaining to this information about the bank deposits?
Meron po. I included that doon po sa aking plunder case na final way back in 2016. And as I mentioned, because of this plunder case that I filed in 2016, yun po ang naging basis ng overall Deputy Ombudsman then to request from the AMLAC documents, and that led him to issue that statement that the contents of the documents that I had are similar to the documents they got. So sinasabi ko, hindi nanggaling itong dokumento ko sa AMLAC kasi nga po bawal yon, pero the contents are the same. And that's all that matters to me as an investigator, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, please pardon me, but I'm a little bit confused. Because if you are alleging that the bank deposits are drug money,
Yeah.
then why plunder? Is it not that when we file a case of plunder, it should involve government funds?
Yes. Yun nga po yung sinasabi ko. Back in 2016, we were stuck in this paradigm na hindi siya involved sa illegal drugs. Kaya when the name of Sammy Uy was being flagged, we were assuming all sorts of things. Pero meron pong mga pumapasok doon, and ang information namin, part ng mga ginagamit na pera ni Mr. Duterte sa Davao is yung peace and order funds niya, which run into, at that time, around 730 million pesos per year. So similar to the pattern or what is used by the Vice President now. So meron silang ganong pondo. So that was the early assumption based on the existing paradigm at that time. Pero nung lumabas na si Mr. Sammy Uy ay involved pala sa illegal drugs as mentioned by Mr. Las Cañas, then it shifted. We revisited the bank accounts and concluded that these are drug money.
To clarify, Senator,
Yes.
you mean to say that when you filed the plunder case back in 2016,
Yeah.
your theory is that the money is government fund, particularly coming from the Peace and Order Program of
Yes.
Davao City. No,
Davao
that was
City.
2016.
No.
Davao City
Davao
LGU.
City. Yes, LGU.
And then along the way, here comes Las Cañas. Tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Which gave you this conclusion that this is drug money.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And this case is pending with the ombudsman.
Yes.
Did you file any supplemental affidavit to correct this theory of your plunder case?
But by then, we only had the witness testimony of Mr. Las Cañas, who was already out of the country and cannot be used as supplemental evidence. But we still attached other pieces of evidence like the COA audit reports, which flagged the ghost employees of Mr. Duterte at that time.
With that COA, with all due respect,
Yes.
Senator, then you're going back again to the theory of government funds.
Yes.
So perhaps I need to rephrase my question. Did you initiate a separate complaint with the theory that this money is indeed a drug money?
No, Mr. Chairman, because I filed it back in 2016. It included the COA records, the documents, because we were working on that assumption back then, Mr. Chairman.
The reason why I'm asking you, Senator, is because kanina po nung maaga pa, one of our challenges in the Quadcom investigation is how to be able to secure the freeze order. And one of the offenses punishable under the AMLA as predicate crime is violation of anti-dangerous drugs law. And I suppose that if you are intending to file an offense, a case under 9165, I wish to believe, and I'm inclined to believe, that you can solicit the help of the AMLA, perhaps to get a verified copy of the information which you are presenting are bank deposits.
Yes. Well, Mr. Chairman, the evidence I got for the illegal drug smuggling case only involved Pulong and Mansa Carpio. And I only have that information from Mr. Las Cañas, who is out of the country and inaccessible, Mr. Chairman.
Anti-money laundering. I just asked, Senator, my
Yes.
my staff here to check if Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act is included among those offenses considered as predicate crime of violation of AMLA. So, having said so, they were able to verify that it is among the enumerations. So, I
Yes.
believe that this is one possible ground for you to be able to secure a freeze order if you believe that this will help your cause against the Duterte family.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We're looking forward to the appointment of a new ombudsman so that we can pursue the 3 plunder cases that I filed against Duterte, Mr. Chairman. And unfortunately, when when the overall Deputy Ombudsman Karandang requested AMLAC precisely because it's included, the newly designated AMLAC Executive Director, who is a lackey of Mr. Duterte, stonewalled the Ombudsman. Actually, a more combative Ombudsman should have subpoenaed the AMLAC investigation report, but unfortunately they folded, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Trillanes. I have few more questions, Mr. Chair, for Mark Taguba. Let's give justice to his patience of staying. Mr. Taguba, do you confirm that you're the same Taguba who was convicted for smuggling of shabu?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you stand still with the statements that you have given in this judicial affidavit? I believe this is dated August 27, 2024. Ito po ba'y pinaninindigan nyo pa rin?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Mr. Taguba, please walk us through. Bago po ba kayo na-involve dito sa kasong ito? Nasaan po kayo? Anong ginagawa nyo? Please start with EMT. What is EMT?
EMT trading, for Your Honor, is consignee for hire. So, pinagagamit nila yung consignee nila for a royalty fee. So, nakilala ko yung si Irene May Tatad dun sa kanyang parang ano yata niya. Kapatid ba niya? Hindi ko na maalala sa kamag-anak niya.
Firstly, what does EMT stands for? It's an acronym, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
What does it stand for?
Hindi ko po alam eh.
I found names here which appear to be consistent with these initials. If you will confirm, does it stand for Irene, TJ, and Mark?
I don't think so, Your Honor.
But do you confirm that TJ and Irene used to be your partners?
TJ is my broker. I'm not a
Your?
Yes. We have, hindi po ako broker kasi yun ang binabansag sa akin sa media na ako ay customs broker, nagpakilala akong customs broker. Ang negosyo ko po is talaga tracking. So, si TJ yung broker. Siya po talaga yung sign, siya po yung mas nakakaalam sa proseso sa customs.
TJ is the broker, you are the tracker.
Yes.
Si Irene po.
Si Irene May Tatad naman, siya po yung consignee.
Do you work together?
Si TJ, kasi ano ko siya eh. Sa kanya ako nag-refer, nagtatanong. Pagka may nagtatanong sa akin na client, tungkol sa mga parating nila, tatanong ko sa kanya. Si Irene naman, royalty fee lang talaga siya eh. So pinagamit niya yung kanyang consignee para sa royalty fee. Kada container na darating, meron siyang royalty fee.
So who owns this EMT trading?
Si Irene May Tatad po.
Si Irene.
Opo.
And then you and TJ just work with them, with her, without necessarily being partners with that EMJ trading, EMT trading.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tama po. In your affidavit, you made mention about this green lane, yellow lane, and red lane. I believe that in the previous hearings, Mr. Guban already testified on this. And I wish to hear if you have the same concept and information that you will share pertaining to these 3 lanes. Green lane, yellow lane, and red lane.
Hindi ko po narinig yung sinabi niya. So, green lane yun, hindi na siya subject for inspection.
No physical inspection
No
and
physical-
no document inspection
No
as well.
document inspection.
That is green lane.
Yellow lane, kung di po ako nagkakamali, sa ano lang, document lang. Tapos red lane, kailangan ng
Wait,
physical.
for yellow lane, you're exempted from the physical inspection, but you are not exempted from the document inspection.
Yes.
Okay?
Then, from red lane, kailangan na ng physical inspection.
And of course, if I am the shipper or the importer, I would want that my shipment be always released through the green lane. Kasi dun mabilis. Walang inspection ng shipment, walang inspection ng document. How do I avail of this green lane?
Ako po talaga, hindi ko yung paano talaga makapunta dito sa green lane. Pero Nung time ko kasi, yun nga, nagbigay kami ng... tama ba?
Are you saying, Mark, that you never experienced using this green lane?
Halos lahat po nung shipments ko, green lane po.
And that is because you submitted to the TARA system.
Yes.
Tama po ba?
Opo.
So, ibig sabihin for a time being, lahat ng mga pinaparelease mong shipment, walang physical inspection, walang document inspection, what is the consideration involved?
Yun po, may TARA system po sa BOC.
And how does TARA system work?
So, weekly, magbibigay ka kada container na re-release mo, napaparating mo.
Is it per container or per value of what is inside the container?
Per container.
Per container.
Opo.
How much per container?
Iba-iba po kasi. So, iba-ibang
Iba-iba depending on?
iba-ibang departamento. So, nakalagay po dito yun. May mga text messages po ako. Mga
Yes,
screenshots.
you mentioned a lot of offices. Can you please enlighten us on this? Anong mga opisina kailangang magbigay? Tama ba yung tanong ko, Mark?
Opo.
And that is what TARA system is all about?
Yes, Your Honor. So,
What offices are you referring to here?
So, tinitignan ko po itong affidavit ko. Ito lang yung mga naalala ko. IG, ESS, Collector, CIIS. Alam ko na
You
breakdown
mentioned
ko
in
na to.
paragraph 15 of your affidavit, MICP, SSPDC, COMSEN, CIIS, CIIS District, IPRD, IG, ESS, ESS District, FED, AOCG, and IAS. If you total the token that you will be giving to all these offices for one container, Mark, magkano yun?
May breakdown po kasi ako nito dati. Your
At
Honor,
least the approximate amount. Are you trying to tell us na kada office iba yung amount?
yes, Your Honor, iba.
I see. But you can at least give us an approximate amount. The total amount that you give for one container to cover all these offices. I believe these are 11 or 12 offices.
Matagal na po kasi pero naalala ko po kasi lahat po kasi ng container ko, uniform po yung ano niya eh. Yung
Flat rate.
binabayad So 170,000
Per container.
per container. So kailangan ko pong kasi kagabi lang po yung ano eh, yung kagabi ko lang nalaman na pupunta ako dito. Nagulat po kasi ako.
I understand.
Hindi ako handa.
Can you give us an approximate number of containers na napaparating mo in a month?
Sa isang linggo, maabot ako ng 100
Wow.
na container.
That's 1 week only?
Opo.
So, if 170,000 per container and you have 100 containers for 1 week, how much is that? 17 million?
Mga ganun po. Hindi ko po pera yun. Hindi ko po pera yun. Kumbaga,
Yeah, I know.
nagpa-process lang naman ako eh.
But
So,
that's how huge
opo, ganun po yung pumapasok na
the
pera.
amount that TARA system generate.
Opo.
Only for you to be able to avail of this green lane. Tama po ba?
Opo.
And I wish to emphasize that here you are, you're just one person
Yes, Sir Honor.
in a day. Can you give us an approval yung nagfa-facilitate ng release?
Alam ko po, nagbigay rin si Senator Lacson ng kanyang sariling loaners. Mga ganun niya. Nilabas na.
Taguba, you will agree with me, government is losing a lot of gain because it deprives the assess correctly the shipment or importation.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tama? There's Drugs Committee. But I wish to reiterate, we revisit the charter of the Bureau of Custom.
Is looking into charter of the Bureau. Any share with the Quintacom? I guess the Quadcom will do that.
Kang nare-receive na alert on your shipment. Tama?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I suppose that there's some time